Hello, squad. Happy Archetypes Tuesday. How is everyone today? Wow, what an interesting and surprising Archetypes podcast this was. I would have never guessed Paris Hilton. Wow, a lot to say about this one. I'm completely left field, but showing Meghan's range, I guess, because what I mean, did anybody guess this? Did anybody guess Paris Hilton? I was saying Beyonce, I was saying Simone Biles, I was saying Britney, I was saying pretty much everyone other than Paris Hilton. That is amazing. And definitely a lot to talk about in regards to today's episode. But we will get into archetypes in the second half of the podcast. I think I'm going to go through all the other news that's come through. I didn't do a podcast yesterday. I didn't actually take a break. There's a project that I've been working on that I also want to introduce you to today. Something exciting for the squad. But I was listening to Baron in the clouds nonetheless. And so let's see who's in the chat today. Doreen, Baron blocked you, and I've been listening to him. Do you know what? Often this does happen. It's usually not on purpose. Maybe the mods meant to block somebody else, and then you accidentally got blocked, or your comment got misinterpreted by one of the mods. The best thing to do is just obviously now that you've let me know here, then I can put it here, and then hopefully Baron will see it, or somebody else. Please tell Baron that Dory was accidentally blocked. So I'm sorry if that does happen to you. I know that somebody else did say to me, I think was it Emerald, that she was blocked from commenting. So I'll have a look at that later. So sorry if you do ever get blocked. It's never on purpose. Hello, Robert Collins, joining from Roma. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Lots of good news today, actually, aside from just archetypes. Meghan popped up at a Spotify archetypes event. There was no news, as always, there's no leaks from Montecito. And I've literally only just, this is why the podcast has moved a little further back, by the way. Because this picture in the middle of Meghan at this event, this is literally only just popped up in the last hour. So I wanted to give it a little bit more time to see if any more pictures would come through, but none so far. But this is the one picture that we have. And I'm assuming that we will get to listen to this talk at some point. But she is indeed wearing a t-shirt that has some Farsi on it, which is the Iranian language. So I'll get onto that in a minute. Karen, the mother of George Floyd, files a $250 billion lawsuit against Kanye. Yeah, I'm going to mention Kanye just briefly later on in the chat, but all I can say is that if Kanye wants to be an establishment hack, I hope they're paying him well. That's pretty much all I have to say about him. I think the likes of him should just be ignored at this point. Him and Candace Owens. Hello everyone, if you're joining the chat, thumbs up please. Hi Faith, hi TGC, Compton Cali Girl, hello. Hi Lady C, Leslie, hey. Hey John Garcia. Light Side of the Moon, hi. Hi Legs. Reba, Mad World, Dara. Okay, I think almost all of the usuals are here. So let's get going. Okay, before we do dive in to the podcast today, I'm going to share something with you. Now, if you've been following me from the very, very beginning, you'll know that when I started Dutch to Success, it was originally Markle Sparkle. And the whole premise of the platform was life lessons inspired by Meghan. So it didn't really start as a daily royal news platform. And I did mix in some things, but they didn't really resonate with you all. You really did just want royal news. But I'm someone that does believe in self-development and leveling up and going on a level up journey through life. And I've been very keen to start a platform for squaddies who and women in general who feel the same. And I had initially created a website like a month ago. It was like called From Zero to Boss Babe or something, but I hated everything. And I worked with a branding coach to start all over again. So the platform in question is called Aja Spaces. Aja is the African goddess of the forest, which is why I chose that name. And it's basically going to be anything that you can imagine about leveling up in life. It's probably going to take me like a year to complete it in total, but in bits and pieces, I will introduce you to it. I will also say that you are not obligated at all to interact with this platform or what I'm doing with a separate platform. I will like give you updates in some podcasts, but you are not obligated at all to interact with it. This is simply for squaddies who are interested in being creative, in investing, in traveling, in, I mentioned doing a writing podcast, and a lot of you were interested in that. Just like all things leveling up in life, this is who this is for. And one of the first things that I'm gonna be doing with this platform is introducing opportunities. So looking for opportunities for you and posting about them. And this will be under the hashtag Aja Spaces Alerts. So if you're on social media and you literally type in Aja Spaces Alerts, either on Instagram or Twitter, these are the type of things that you're going to see. So I've taken the time to actually start looking for different things that may be of interest to you or that might be useful. So for anyone who, for example, was thinking about writing a book. There was someone who were quite interested in doing a writing workshop, which I will do. And official Lauren, who I think you're in the chat, I did get your email about doing a writing workshop, and my answer is yes. I have not had a moment to get back to you. But if, for example, you are interested in writing a novel, noveler.com is now allowing you to write one whole book on their website for free. This is completely new. I've been with Noveler for a very, very long time. This is a new feature. So for those of you, NaNoWriMo is coming up. For those of you who said, I'm interested in writing a book, Noveler is now allowing you to use their software for free and write one whole book before you ever have to pay a penny. Another opportunity, anybody who's interested in studying languages, the Boren Awards funded program is open, and you can get yourself a fellowship for BIPOC content creators. Interpret Travel, which is one of the biggest travel companies in the world, has teamed up with Nomads Travel Tribe to give 4 up and coming content creators the opportunity to get mentorship and a trip to Costa Rica. So this is open to anyone over the age of 18, and the deadline is November 30th. So I will always post the opportunity, basic details, a link, and the deadline anytime I post about these things. And because I would not look for all of these opportunities without giving you a little bit of help on how to win, I've also created a guide called Win the Prize: How to Apply for Grants, Scholarships, Competitions, and Other Opportunities. That is I think it's like a 5 or 6 page guide. It is completely free. This is all free. I'm not affiliated with any of these companies. I'm not getting paid by any of them. I'm not getting paid when you download the guide. I'm creating these resources for squaddies who are interested in taking opportunities and doing different things. And the reason I'm so passionate about this is because, as I've said from the very, very beginning, guys and dolls, I feel like in Meghan, we have the most amazing role model. And as much as it's really important to come on here and, talk about all of the things that are happening, sometimes those things positive, unfortunately, sometimes those things negative. I also think it's important to look at Harry and Meghan and say, do you know what? Despite all of the drama, they are still thriving. And so we should take example from that and thrive in our own lives as well. When I'm not on this podcast, guys and dolls, I'm reading, I'm taking courses, I'm updating my skills, I'm doing all the things that I think one should be doing, traveling when I can to level up in life. And is that not what and who Meghan was before the royal drama? And another thing that I'm going to do next year is when I think this community of squaddies that is interested in these types of things, when it is more established, one of the things that I do want to do, I'm putting it out into the universe, is to have like a squaddie level up prize. So it will literally be like some kind of cash prize where the squad member who has done the most um to go after opportunities and do something interesting with their life, I actually want to give that person some kind of prize. Because I think this is really important. We don't want to be like the derangers. We don't want to just focus on the drama. We want to take example from these two people that we admire and apply that to our own lives. We're not all going to be billionaires in Montecito with a mansion, right? But we can go and, you know, uh, go to that country we've always dreamed of going. We can apply for that new job we've always wanted to apply for. We can update our skills. We can heal our traumas and become better people. We can do all of those things. Okay, so if you go to the community tab, I have all of these details here. And as I said, little by little by little, I will introduce different parts of the platform as I build it because it's going to take a while to get everything. And yes, some of my own work is incorporated in this as well, but I would say like 70% of the stuff that I'm going to put on this platform will be completely free. And like I said, you are not obligated to interact with this at all. It is completely and utterly up to you. So that is all I wanted to say about that. So I'll just take your comments before we actually move on to the main part of the podcast. Let's see. Thank you so much, official Lauren Brown. And yes, I've checked out your YouTube. I see you're a writer, so I'll be more than interested in doing some kind of writing workshop with you for squaddies that are interested in that. And like I said, all of this, guys, it will be kept on a completely separate platform. It won't be the Duchess of Success will still be Daily Royal News. This will be a completely different platform. So don't worry about the content on this channel uh, getting mixed up. Um, Miko, you said you're interested in travel. Yes, and actually, if you go to the community tab where I posted about this and write in the comment section, what are you interested in hearing about or leveling up in your life about? You let me know, and then I can I can do research. I can bring on people um, to give talks and do workshops and all of that stuff. That's what I want that platform to be. Go, Lewis, write your first novel for free. Yes, Novella is amazing. Novella is what I use to write all of my books that I've self-published. So go and check that out. Um, no problem, Light Side of the Moon. Um, thank you so much for just joining us. Lauren, you're such a treasure to your viewers, sharing resources and example of a kind heart. Well, I have the most amazing viewers, so it's the absolute least I can do. And thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, and make sure you go and check out official Lauren Brown's video about the squad, everyone. Go and sub to her channel. Um, Outsider's perspective, 100% agree, Anne. I'm a H&M fan because of the impact they have had on my life, pushing me to be the best version of me. Yes. And that's what we all need to be, okay? We don't want to be derangers out here posting pictures of our busted laptops being held together by tape, okay? We want to be smart investors who are starting businesses and working with charities and applying for that next job and letting go of traumas and being our best person. That's what I want now, right? Alongside um, everything else. Tony Racer, I want to travel, but I have two little kids and it's expensive. So I would look to search online for um, families who travel, like nomadic families, or just like bloggers and influencers that travel with their kids, because they usually have a lot of tips on how to travel cheap with kids and things like that. So I'm not going to lie, yes, with two little kids, it's going to be a little bit more expensive for you, but there are a lot of kind of hacks and tricks that you can do to travel for free. Mm, Right. Okay. I think I've got through most of your comments about that. Thank you, everyone. Is you all have inspired me to really push and create this platform. So let's get on with the actual royal news for today. Right, first things first. This came out today. So Omid posted the Delon Park project was created to foster a sense of togetherness and healing, and honor lives lost. This is from the Texas, so the lives lost in the Texas shooting, by the way. Says Archwell director James Holt. Our hope is that this special project can help the community heal and be home to imagination games and play for many years to come. So Archwell has basically funded this playground for the kids in that community who were unfortunately subject to a horrific shooting. Meghan, of course, did go and pay her condolences, and she bought some food packages for the local community center. So they've actually built this playground, and that is absolutely amazing. James Holt there living his best philanthropic life. And amazing. It's the small gestures that count. And how wonderful would it be if more people just did small little gestures like this, to help each other, right? So wonderful for those kids. Also, yes, in the last hour, we've seen this picture come up. Meghan at the Archetypes Women with Spotify event. So the Duchess of Sussex had been invited to speak at Spotify's female-run employee resource group, Women at Spotify, which is an employee-led group that fosters inclusivity and building community. So because was an employee group, I wonder if we will actually get to see the whole thing live or like a replay of it. But anyway, it goes on to say an attendee of the private event, which was held on Tuesday, confirmed to Hello that Meghan had spoken at the event on feminist issues, wearing a shirt that had the message Women, Life, Freedom, written in the Farsi language. During her talk, the mum of two praised the courage of protesters in Iran who have been protesting since September 16th following the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini. And yes, it has been quite something seeing the pictures of the brave women and men also standing beside them, those who are in support, fighting for their freedoms. Um, and we wish them the best. We send prayers. It's never easy getting any type of freedom from, authoritative systems, but hopefully the people in authority will just come to see sense. It's crazy the fear that patriarchy has of women. If patriarchy was if if it was meant to be the natural way, the women would naturally be submissive, and they wouldn't have to go through all of this to keep us in our place. Okay, Ruth's motivational and inspirational sanctuary. I want to level up and be a counselor for women and children. Amazing, and I wish you all the best of luck with that, Ruth. I actually bought a not well, actually, it's not a counseling course, but a coaching course um on Udemy a couple of months ago. So have a look around at some of these, Udemy, Skillshare. Not that they're going to give you like a professional certification to be a counselor, of course, like you need to do that professionally, but it will give you like I guess like an entry and maybe give you a little bit of confidence to actually take that step, and go right ahead and do that counseling course and be someone who is a safe space for women and children. I wish you the best with that. Um, Lydia, I love that some of the squad channels like DOS, Sharon, and Official Lauren Brown share other content that uplifts and builds. Yes, and I think it's important. I think it's important. Right, let's get a few comments before we go to the next thing. Benjamin, I know that Anne knows of the house sitting services. A black woman on YouTube talks about it all the time. Yes, that is Stephanie Perry. Am I saying her name right? Stephanie Perry. Let me just, before I get too excited, let me just make sure I've got her name right because I do want to actually give her credit. I love her channel. My good sis. Yes, it is Stephanie Perry. Wait, okay, I'm actually going to post a link. If you're a black woman and you're interested in house sitting, you're interested in traveling, make sure you go check her out. Now, Stephanie and some of the women that she works with just actually had a summit. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go, but it was very successful, and I'm sure that they will do it again next year. But go and check out her channel because oh my gosh, yes, you are right. She's amazing. It is an economical way to travel. And yeah, there's so many ways that you can actually travel for free. I talk about this in my travel book. But yeah, go check her out. Like if you're a black woman and you want to get started in travel, and you're not sure, go and check her out. There's also another woman called Driven Spice. Go and look for her channel as well. For those of you who are black women, especially black Americans who are possibly thinking about becoming expats, Portugal is definitely becoming the place. So Driven Spice has a lot of information about Portugal because that's where she lives, and that's where I'll be going in January. More about that later. But yes, there's so many opportunities and so many inspirational people that you can be listening to as well. Yes, Wendy, Princess Meghan is on the move, bigger and better. Yeah, we're not stopping now. We are not stopping. Full speed ahead. Rachel, corporate events like this won't be released to the public, just announcements like this. Yeah, it seems like it, but I'm sure we'll get plenty more events like this with Meghan going forward. And we still have a variety cover that we haven't seen, and she was meant to be on. I always mix up the two. Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, one of the two. Um, oh, Joan Commonwealth, you've been house sitting for 10 years. Wow, Joan Commonwealth. Um, could if you are interested, no pressure at all, and you are interested in talking about your experience house sitting, this can be another workshop that we do. Please do email me at antimalambo@gmail.com if you're interested in talking. No pressure at all, because I would love to hear your perspective. That is amazing. Paulette's congratulations to the kids in Texas. Well done, Harry and Meghan. Yes. Um, Oh, and thank you so much for joining, Ruth. Thank you. I wish you good luck in your counseling pursuits. Take that course, apply for that new job. Do it all, folks. Our time here is short. Yeah? All right. On to the next thing. The Crown. The Crown has released new promotional posters. Okay, so let's examine both of these. You got one where you've got Diana on her own with the Queen and Charles on one side, and just over Diana, there's like a crack in the wall, right? So I think that is so reflective of what the institution is, right? You got this mix of glamour in front, but cracks everywhere, and cracks that no matter how much glamour they put in front of us, you can't really fix. And then you've got this really cool one. I love the one with the Diana and Charles kind of in front, a bit blurred, with the Queen very sharply in the background. And of course, the British press and the firm have been doing all the things. Oh, this is another a crown poster, just Diana with half her face there, looking very sad. They have been doing the most to try and discredit the crown, to um I don't know, boss the crown around. This is an American company. You have no jurisdiction. And really, what does it say about the institution that they are trying to censor creativity, censor art, right? These are the same people that go on and on about cancel culture. But here they are trying to get the biggest media platform cancelled and silenced. Not happening. And they can scream and yell all they want, but the public know what the truth is. The proof is in the pudding. And right here, Camilla Gate, the manuscript, Charles and Camilla on the phone, Charles talking about Camilla's tampon and how he wants to be her tampon, hence the name the tampon prince, okay? So they can complain about the crown all they want. All it's doing is bringing attention to it. And you had Victoria Arbiter tweeting, "Earl Spencer, John Major, William Shawcross have all denounced the crown. Those taking a more cavalier approach have likely never had their likeliness misrepresented. Those who have know the extent of the damage and distress caused by people pushing a false narrative." So what I'm getting from Victoria Arbiter in that tweet is that she still hasn't found her eyelashes. First of all, John Major. John Major is the ex. So he's an ex British Prime Minister. When I was a little kiddie, we used to call him Floppy Ears. That's him pictured with Charles. I don't know where any of these people think that they can get some authority telling us what to think about reality, right? Because we know what the reality is. It played out in front of everyone. And as Glow said, when the perpetrators of misinformation and smear campaigning, for example, against Prince Harry and Princess Meghan, experience the same thing back, they become fragile and cry pain and victimhood, forgetting that they've inflicted and are still inflicting it on others. Yes. But a lot of what is shown in The Crown is the truth, and we know it's the truth. Those who lived through the years, historians, journalists, in fact, where is it? Oh, yes. A Netflix spokesperson said, The Crown has always been presented as a drama based on historical events. Series 5 is a fictional dramatization imagining what could have happened behind closed doors during a significant decade for the royal family, one that has already been scrutinized and well documented by journalists, biographers, and historians. And what the Netflix spokesperson didn't say there is the general public who saw it unfold with our very eyes. Words that came out of Diana's own mouth, both in the Martin Bashir interview, and if you want to dismiss the Martin Bashir interview, in her tapes and diary notes with the other guy. Sorry, I forget his name now. Uh the one from Diana in Her Own Words. Andrew Morton. Yeah, that's the guy. So now they are they're trying to get scenes from The Crown taken out. Obviously, John Major, features in it because he was the prime minister during part of that time. And like I've said before, I mean, they were not concerned when The Crown was not fully representing the raping and pillaging of nations and colonialism. They weren't concerned about that. Now all of a sudden they're concerned because we're at the Diana years. And The Crown could be a lot more harsh on the royals if it wanted to be 100% truthful. It would be. Like there are some things that we know about that weren't featured in the last series. Like, Diana threw herself down the stairs when she was pregnant with William. We didn't see that. So I think they just need to chill. They're doing the most and they're just bringing more attention. It's really weird to see how just flustered and panicky they are about The Crown. And on the one hand, I think they realize how influential The Crown is or could be, but at the same time, they overestimate their influence to tear people away from watching it or being interested in it. Okay, to your comments before we continue. Hello, everyone. If you're just joining us, thumbs up. Karen M. Netflix shares jump again as it gains 2.4 million new subscribers. Well, I'm one of those Netflix watchers who subscribes when I know that there are things coming up that I want to watch. So right now, I'm not sub to Netflix. I'm going to resubscribe for The Crown, and then I'll probably unsubscribe until like Hellbound 2 or Squid Games 2. I'm not an avid Netflix watcher. Yeah, Valerie, they're accomplishing the exact opposite. More people are going to watch The Crown. Joyce, all those old people out here talking about how bad The Crown is. Nobody off that island knows who John Major is. Floppy ears. That's what we used to call him when I was a kid. Still remember. Rahini, I need Vicky eyelashes. Sorry, Vicky Lashless to have several seats because she was lying on Meghan. She did not think about the extent of the damage she was doing exactly. And it's not just her father as well. Why not actually call out your dad, Vicky, for calling Meghan a fling on 2 occasions? Yes, C-Mac, there is literally audio and video. Yes, Lex, we didn't see Lord Mountbatten either. We didn't see Jimmy Savile. We didn't see a lot of things. Yeah, outsiders. I've said this also that the Crown actually humanized Charles. It was way too kind for him. Bonnie, the royals have not seen the latest series of The Crown, and they are outraged. Yes, I mean, for all we know, like the last season, this could humanize Charles also. They haven't even seen it, and they're making such a fuss. And they're making a fuss when so much of the truth is out there in audio and video. Christ, sunshine. I only subscribe for The Crown. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Alan. Thank you as always. And Legs. Thank you both. They clearly don't know about the Streisand effect. Exactly. uh I mean, people literally lived through the Diana years. Anyway, um, on to the next thing. Yes, so Richard Palmer finally admitting, albeit in a very sly and shady way, what we've all known for a long time. Meghan pays these people's bills. So one of the things that Meghan talked about in the Archetypes podcast was her time as a deal or no deal girl. And Richard Palmer said, Meghan's podcasts break my personal golden rule, but the Sussexes are only of news value if they do, sorry, if they say or do, oh gosh, my tongue, if what they say or do impacts on the monarchy, but they have proved to be gold for us in the media. Okay, so the whole idea that they're only of value if what they say or do impacts on the monarchy is just ridiculous. Harry and Meghan are news value 24/7 of the day. Even when they're doing nothing, you all in the media still make up crap stories and lies. So thank you for admitting finally that she's paying your mortgage, but don't try and act like they're not relevant 24/7 and that you literally make up stories about them to make more money. Also, over in Derangerville, I don't go there that often, but this popped up on my feed. This was a Deranger who posted, has anyone noticed that the Sussex squad are not arguing? The squad, they say something nasty about the British royal family. Royalists say something in defense of the British royal family. Squad just disappear. While I don't mind the lack of argument, it's just odd. And then somebody retweeted that saying, "Why should they argue with clowns?" Exactly. Why should we argue with clowns? We've got better things to do. We're leveling up. We're writing books, doing workshops, hydrating and moisturizing. I don't really interact. I never interact with Rangers. I don't. I just block them. So it just shows that they want to fight us. They are preoccupied with drama, and they can stay preoccupied with drama. We haven't got the time. We're doing other things now. Yes, Jessica, they want to sanitize Camilla's reputation. Good luck with that. That's why they have her surrounded by Paddington bears. Yes, Valerie, they want to rewrite history. But in an age of social media, no, no, no. Not going to happen very easily. Thank you so much, Irene Gomez, for becoming a member. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Right, so that is that. Um, right, this popped up that Mike Tyndall apparently did not seek permission from Charles to sign on to I'm a Celebrity. Right. I think there's two possibilities about this. The first one is that he genuinely did not seek permission. That he's going on this show obviously he needs to make money because Charles is slimming down the monarchy. And that he'll probably say things about Harry and Meghan to try and get views. The other one is that he actually did seek permission from Charles. That the articles that they're putting out about him not seeking permission are just a distraction, and that he 100% intends to go on this show and talk smack about Harry and Meghan with the blessing of Charles. So two possibilities. I'll let you decide which one you think is more accurate. Either way, it just shows the hypocrisy that Mike Tyndall is allowed to go on, or is going, whether or not he was allowed, but he is going on I'm a Celebrity when all we've been hearing for the last 2 years is complaints about a Harry and Meghan Netflix deal. And as far as I've always known, as far as has been officially announced, the only Netflix show that could possibly feature Harry and Meghan that is being made is the Invictus documentary. There is no so-called reality show. And now the media are having to backtrack, but they're still making clickbaity articles. So here you have Deadline Hollywood um, with this article, which was written by a Daily Mail writer. And the headline is Rattled after attacks on season 5 of The Crown, Netflix has decided to postpone its documentary series featuring Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. By the Duke and Duchess of Sussex until next year. Now, if you actually click on that article and read the article, it features a quote directly from Netflix that says, there has never been any documentary from the Duke and Duchess of Sussex confirmed. Yet the article claims but this article claims that officials at Netflix stated multiple times that it was airing in December, which they did not. There is no so-called documentary about Harry and Meghan's personal life that has been confirmed anyway. That has been confirmed. So they're using this title as clickbait, but you actually have to go into the article. It's probably like right at the bottom where you see the statement from Netflix saying there's never been any documentary from the Duke and Duchess of Sussex confirmed. And you've even got the Independent, which is usually a little bit more sensible. Again, using a similar headline: Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary delayed following backlash of The Crown, which is ridiculous. Oi, as Glow, Sussex Royal Glow said, come on, Independent, you are better than this. The existence of this documentary, other than for Invictus, is tabloid created. Right. Into a comment before we continue. Oh, have we got trolls? Welcome, trolls. Sit there silently, please, and give us more views. Uh, yeah, Rita, he's broke, people. Yes, and Lewis, if you argue with the Rangers, you become one. There's one, I'm not going to say her name or her social media handle, but listen, when we say the Rangers, the name really suits them well. There is one who is literally on TikTok right now wearing a Meghan mask and dancing around her house with a Meghan mask. And yes, she looks exactly how you probably think she looks like. And it's just, I mean, when I saw that video, and was another squaddy that actually posted a series of her videos, I just thought, oh my god, like these people actually need help. They are truly, truly deranged. And unfortunately, the press smear campaign has just made them even more deranged and literally obsessed with Meghan. Like it's scary what I saw. I'm not gonna um I'm not gonna ever repost what I saw on this channel because it's just it needs to be forwarded to the authorities and these people need to be watched over very, very carefully. Very, very carefully. Okay, on to the next thing. Yeah, so once upon a time, we didn't like Hollywood actors being associated with the royals, but here we have Daniel Craig getting the Order of St. Michael and St. George, the same honor held by his character. I didn't know that they gave these chocolate medals to characters. But Daniel Craig got an honor from Anne. Now, Daniel Craig is a fine actor, and from what little I know of him, a decent person. So I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve recognition, but the number of times that I saw in the British press them disparaging Meghan for being an actress, a Hollywood actress, but when we want PR, we will happily give Hollywood actors medals. We just won't give them to the biracial one. Also, in I guess you could say actors news. I don't know what it is that Kanye West is trying to be nowadays. But as somebody else in the comment section mentioned, yes, George Floyd's mother is apparently suing Kanye. He has been saying some pretty nasty things about George Floyd's death. And this is what I call the failed rapper to black right wing podcaster pipeline industrial complex happening in real time. I guess Kanye is done with making music. He would rather be an establishment hack, and that's fine. I guess it pays well, but just know what it does for your soul, Kanye. I think his mother would be deeply disappointed. He has really messed up what would have otherwise been a pretty legendary career. But um, yeah, the divorce is coming, and I guess he needs some money. So there you go. Lady Bird, some rangers are ready for the asylum. Yeah. I mean, listen, I pity them. I really, really do. And listen, I don't want to laugh at mental health. Some of them genuinely do need help. But there's also some of them that need to. I'm just gonna say the authorities need to keep a close eye on them because what I saw truly disturbed me. Um, all right. So I think that's pretty much all I had to say in terms of royal related news. So let's get on to archetypes. As always, I'm not going to give away too much. I'm just going to scratch the surface because I want you to actually go and listen to it yourself. But shock of the day, Meghan picking Paris Hilton, and they dissected the archetype of the word bimbo and the difficult duality of a woman either being seen as just smart or just sexy, and how those two things are often pitted against each other. And often women are kind of put into those two categories. It's like if you're seen as someone who is attractive by society's narrow standards, we're not going to allow you to be smart. You just have to be something to be seen and not heard. But if you want to be smart, we're going to strip you of your femininity. It's like it's this weird, um, very difficult line that women have to walk. And what I also like about the archetypes podcast, like as a whole series, is I or anyone listening may not be able to directly understand what it is to go through that particular experience, right? So I don't know what it's like to be an Asian woman who has that dragon lady's stereotype. I don't know what it's like to be seen as like the dumb blonde. But all of those things, the roots of all of those things are either or misogyny or patriarchy. So even if you don't fit into that particular group, you can see parts of your experience in it, and we as women can appreciate the different experiences that women have, but also understand underlying those experiences um are patriarchy and misogyny, and this is where a lot of these archetypes come from. And Paris as a public, she's been in the public eye for a very long time. She was 90s pop culture. I'll give her that. She was Kim before Kim, and probably did it better. One of the things that Megan did allude to was some of her problematic past. Um, I didn't want to put it up on the screen or anything like that because I didn't want to get too negative about it. But she has allegedly made some, racist comments in the past, and you can go and research on that if you want to. And so Megan did allude to that, and she did say, this is not the rebranding of um, Paris Hilton, but this is just her, having her time to speak her truth. And even if someone is problematic in the past, if they're willing to do the work and learn and give back to communities, which I think is what Paris is now doing. She's doing a lot of advocacy, especially for those who are going through sexual abuse. I think people should be allowed to grow if they do the work and they give back. So it was a very interesting conversation between the two. Paris talked about the abuse that she went through at a at a youth school, boarding school that her parents sent her to, and this boarding school has actually since been shut down. There was a lot of abuse that went on there, not just towards Paris, but towards other people who went to that school. And part of her advocacy is now um, advocating for people who've been through sexual abuse, but also like at schools like this. And I think it also just proves that just because somebody comes from a very rich privileged background does not mean that they escape abuse. Because mind you, it was her parents that sent her there. And just because somebody comes from a rich and privileged background and has privileges in some ways doesn't mean that they won't experience abuse in other ways. So, Paris may have a certain level of privilege being a very wealthy white woman from a, family dynasty worth hundreds of millions. That did not save her from being sexually abused. That did not save her from being put into a box when she wanted to, have a career in the public eye. It didn't save her from being put into a bimbo box. And what often happens is, well, if people don't want to see you as anything else, you tend to just play into the character, which is what she said that she did because, well, that was what people wanted to see. They wanted to see the dumb Barbie blonde. So that's the character that she played, and it's a character that a lot of people ridiculed, that a lot of people did like also. That was very lucrative. But as she said, and as one can likely understand, it can become very restrictive. Even if you are profiting from it, it can restrict you from really being your authentic self. Right down to her, changing her voice and, having a baby voice. But actually, if you listen to Paris and she's talking normally, she has quite a deep voice. So, fantastic work from Megan again. There were another two ladies who spoke in the podcast, but you can go and listen to their perspectives. They talked about the dumb blonde stereotype, and when you actually listened to the podcast, you heard like different snippets from different movies of where you kind of hear the stereotype. For example, in Mean Girls with the Karen character, in Legally Blonde with the Elle Woods character. When she goes to Harvard and because she wants to impress her boyfriend who, doesn't see her as, wifey material because, she's blonde and, she's busty and she doesn't quite fit that, um, upper echelon wifey material look. And yet, when she was given a chance to show what she was capable of, despite the way she looked, she became an amazing lawyer. So it's important to be careful not to put people into boxes, and unfortunately especially with the bimbo stereotype, often it can be other women that put other women into that box. So that's all I had to say about it. I'd love to know your thoughts, and we'll go to your comments, and then we will call it a day. Lights of the moon. Yes, and I posted a comment about how his mum would have been so on him. She would have straightened him up fast. This is not what she wanted for him. It's quite sad. Yeah, what Kanye should have done is just taken some time out the spotlight and actually found some real healing. It's like he went running to the wrong places to get validation, and now he's in the situation that he is now. But I don't say that in any way to paint him as a victim because I don't think he's a victim. But I'm just saying that's where his choices have led him to where he is now. Yeah, outside his perspective, all the money in the world couldn't stop him from clowning around. Oh, all right. Latoya, Paris Hilton was a bit wild when she was young. Her parents didn't know about the abuse until years later. Yes, and often when somebody starts acting out and they're being wild, that's often a way to you know cover up all of the emotions that come from being abused. And oh my god, that 90s TMZ tabloid era. I mean, that was just something else. I remember um, agencies like TMZ and X17, which I think is now aren't they defunct? Aren't they the ones that went bankrupt after Harry and Meghan sued them? You know, they would have their cameras, hundreds of them, you know, outside of clubs, outside um of shopping areas. I mean, you can still find videos of like Paris literally being swarmed with hundreds of paparazzi. That has got to mess with you at some point. It was an interesting time, that 90s tabloid era that she came up in with like her, Lindsay, um, you know, Tila Tequila, that whole group of them. Kim, Tlingit Maiden. My people come from a matriarchal society which has disappeared with Western society, but the respect for the female is still strong in us, and grandma's word is law. Oh, what culture is that? I'd love to know more about that. Thank you for letting us know about that. Outside perspective, the biggest issue is outsourcing parenting. It's sad, but with all the money, she didn't have to go to a boarding school. Where were Paris's parents? You know, this isn't uncommon with rich parents to just send their children to boarding school. Not uncommon. Archie, Paris and Harry have problematic pasts. Harry has grown and changed. Hopefully, Paris is being honest about her growth. I hope so too. Tashmak, I love how Meghan emphasized that this wasn't to rebrand to change how we see her controversies. I would never condone racism, but I also don't condone other isms or hate. Yes, and if people are willing to change and give back, I think they should be given the chance. Dolores, I love these podcasts. They are all different and bring up things to talk about. Each one is unique. Yes. Rita, I haven't listened yet. Going to listen after this. Do listen. It was a really good podcast, actually. Wasn't expecting it at all. Gail, Paris made a documentary about her abuse, and it really shone a light on abuse. It changed my perspective of how I saw her after. Yeah, I heard about the documentary, but I never watched it. Wasn't it on Hulu? I think it was on Hulu. Kenneth at Ash, just seen a photo of Meghan when she was on Deal or No Deal. It's on the front page of the Sun. I'm sure they will not print the story as mentioned by Meghan today. Yeah, and this was another thing that Meghan talked about was her experience on Deal or No Deal, and how ultimately it just made her feel objectified because she had also, you know, worked at the Argentinian embassy, and you know she was, you know, she was needed and wanted there for her brains and not her looks. And you know, she also said that while she was very grateful for having a job that paid her bills, um, you know, the feeling of just being seen as a thing with a suitcase eventually took her toll on her. I can relate to that in a kind of similar way. Like when I was very young, I actually used to do beauty pageants, and I won a pageant that gave me the opportunity to travel to the Czech Republic and Tunisia. And it was an amazing experience, getting to travel at such a young age and, you know, meet all these girls from all over the world. But, you know, the experience of going through a pageant and, you know, your body being examined and you just kind of, you know, basically going through all that trouble to make yourself look a certain way to win based on your looks, that still felt a bit troubling. So I was grateful for the experience to travel, but it's not something that I ever did again afterwards, and it's not something that I would want like my daughter to do. So it's a very weird duality, but I'm glad that Megan, she didn't just stay because, you know, okay, I'm getting paid. She left when it didn't feel good for her. And I think it takes a lot of strength to do that. Oh, you're a Meredith native Alaskan. Oh, interesting. Thank you so much for giving us that perspective. Betty, and my word, these people are sick. Their mental health has gone into overdrive, and that's making them dangerous. Wearing a Megan, yeah, she was literally wearing a Megan mask with the eyes cut out. Ugh. She was British, by the way, so she doesn't live in the US, thank goodness. Yeah, Andreen, a lot of these elites don't pay attention to their children. Their children are vessels to carry on the family name and wealth and keep power structures alive. That's what they see their children as, not as human beings that deserve love and affection. And that's why a lot of them are messed up. But I think people often forget about that and just assume because you come from a rich and privileged family that your life was dandy and happy. And reality is often the complete opposite. Um, Tonya, Paris's house was getting robbed a lot. She would move and they followed her and rob her house again. Yeah, so this was actually dramatized in a movie called The Bling Ring, and they actually robbed quite a few celebrities. So if you want to, I guess, watch the dramatized version of that, it's a movie called The Bling Ring. I think it was directed by Sophia Coppola. It stars Emma Watson. Miss P talks. Money does not make you emotionally whole. People just need to heal from their past and get counseling. Yes, and often, despite all of their money, getting counseling and getting help is one of the last things that a lot of wealthy people do. And I think partly it's because sometimes, yeah, maybe it's because they see it as something that is beneath them, like admitting that there's a problem and admitting that I need help. But your money is not gonna heal those traumas automatically. The Bugatti, the Hermes bag, the Hermes scarf, it's not gonna heal your traumas. Compton Cali, I used to watch Deal or No Deal. We have Deal or No Deal in the UK, but it is nowhere near as glamorous as the US. Completely. I don't even think we have Deal or No Deal girls in the UK version. Like it's completely different. Latoya, Paris is the only reason we know who Kim K is. It was where she got her start for sure. Irene, the feeling I got about Paris's parents sending her to boarding school as to get her out of the circle she was running around with. She was getting into trouble, yeah, but unfortunately, it was like jumping out of the fire into the frying pan. I'm sure her parents thought that they were doing a good thing, but hopefully, if anything, this is just a lesson to parents to really do your research on where you're sending your kids and, give them the emotional space to come to you and say when something is wrong or they're being abused. Rachel's on, I accidentally saw it. She was a horror and something psychologically wrong. This May campaign brings out these, brings these people out. Yes, Rachel, they're referring to that deranger. Truly a horror. All right. Oh, outsider's perspective, you think Naomi Osaka? Yes, I had guessed Naomi Osaka also. That would be really fun because we know that they have spoken and Megan actually did ring Naomi. Right. That is all I wanted to talk about for today. Another wonderful archetypes Tuesday. And just as a reminder for those of you who were not at the beginning of the podcast, yes, I am building a new platform for the squad and friends of the squad who are interested in all things leveling up in life, being creative. I mean, I want it to be like a mixture of things that are just all related to leveling up. And it's called Arja Spaces. You can go check out what's there at the moment if you want to go check out arjaspaces.com. There's not really a whole lot there at the like right now, but I will be building it throughout the year. And also, if you go to the communities tab on this channel right now, one of the features that I'm adding to Arjar Spaces is what's called Arjar Spaces alerts. So if you search for that tag anywhere on social media, you will see all of these types of opportunities. So I really do hope that um you find these useful, that you find something here that helps you, that you're interested in. And like I said, go to the opportunities tab and write in the comment section of this post what you want to see on this platform, or what it is exactly that you want help with. And then I can focus on making resources to do with those things, or bringing on people to talk and do workshops that are focused on things that you would actually find useful. And like I said, for those of you who weren't here at the beginning of the chat, I'm creating this on a completely separate website. It will probably have its own YouTube channel as well, where we do workshops, so that it doesn't mix in with any of the royal content. I'll just give you like regular updates on what's going on Agile Spaces if you're interested. And of course, you all know what my email is, andcmalambo@gmail.com. And if there's anything that you personally would like to contribute, you've got an interesting story, you've got an inspiring story, I want you all to be part of this platform as well. And by the end of next year, when this platform is completely finished, I want you all to come to me and say, you know what, Anne, I did apply for that opportunity and something amazing happened for me. I did write my first book. I did decide to start an investment portfolio. I did decide to travel even though I was scared. I did decide to house sit. Um, positive stuff. That's what I want to start hearing going forward. In between all of the royal dramas, I want us to be thriving and not surviving just as much as Harry and Meghan are. Okay? And with that, we are done for today. Thank you, everyone, so much. Thank you to our new members, to the everyone who gave a super sticker, and yeah, thank you so much for supporting as always, guys and dolls. Jen Commonwealth will send you an email this weekend. Oh, thank you so much. Anybody that wants the emails, and see Malambo, I'll put it in the comments. And see Malambo@gmail.com. Any ideas, anything at all, just email me. Yeah, and we'll see what we can do and how we can grow as a squad. Because I do think that this is where we need to go next, guys and dolls. You know, like we should be, um, we should be growing with our faves. Oh, thank you so much, Twi5 Girls. Yes, I will be bringing this on a completely different platform, because I do know that some people, they're just not interested in it. They just want the royal news, and that's fine as well. I want to create spaces for both of you. Ruth just registered at University of Phoenix for masters in counseling. Everybody in the chat, please give our sister Ruth a round of applause. Wish you all the best with that, Ruth. And also, look for. I mean, I will look now that you've mentioned that. I will look for opportunities and grants that you can get to help you with your studies to lower I don't know if you can have a student loan for that, but just look around in your field. You'll be surprised that you can find grants and just basically free money to help you reduce any of your costs. I think a lot of people, they don't actually know what opportunities are out there for them to take, and that's another reason why I want to start this platform. Mm, Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I put the email in the comments, Golo, and@gmail.com. Yes, Wendy, positive uplifting, onward and upward. That's what it's all about. And you will know that I'm leaving the UK in January, um, and you're, you're basically going to be traveling around with me the whole of next year. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. 2023, it's gonna be really, really fun. About growing and building generational wealth. That is very, very good. Very, very good. Congratulations to you. Okay, some of you are saying that it sounded so bad, so I guess that is, my cue to get out of here. Alright, y'all, let's dance our way out, and I will see you all tomorrow. Ciao.
Everybody's saying that I lost my mind, but I ain't never ever given up this time. 'Cause everybody knows that I've been on the grind, but I ain't never ever given up this time. No, this time. No, this time. No, 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 no. I've never ever given up this time. Never given up this time. Everybody's saying that I lost my mind, but I ain't never ever given up this time. 'Cause everybody knows that I've been on the grind, but I ain't never ever given up this time. I've never ever given up this time. Never given up this time. Never given up this time. Never given up this time. Everybody's saying that I lost my mind. Everybody's saying that I lost my mind. Everybody's saying that I lost my mind, but I ain't never ever given up this time. 'Cause everybody knows that I've been on the grind, but I ain't never ever given up this time. I've 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 never ever given up.
People should expect the real me in this, and probably the me that they've never gotten to know. Certainly not in the past few years, where everything is through the lens of the media, as opposed to, hey, it's me. I'm just excited to be myself and talk and be unfiltered, and yeah, it's fun.